Hey you, if you're new to my channel and don't know who I am, my name's Hannah and I'm a certified holistic health coach and gut health expert. On my channel, you'll typically find me talking about all of the science-backed, sustainable information that you can use to ditch the digestive distress and get off the diet roller coaster for good through optimizing your gut health. Today, I'm gonna jump into my top 6 tips to reset your gut after traveling. Chances are, if you catch this around the holiday season, you likely traveled, and if you're catching this away from the holiday season, you've probably traveled recently too, right? Many of us, after we travel, end up feeling inflamed, maybe constipated. Flying does that to a lot of us. Dehydrated, our immune system's a little weaker, we've been out of our routine, maybe we're bloated, we're just feeling a little like lethargic and heavy. So resetting your gut is like the best and most important thing to do after traveling, and it's gonna help you feel better in a matter of days. So let's get into how to reset your gut after traveling. Tip number 1 is going to be eating an early dinner. This is my biggest tip that I could give you. It's so simple, it's free, it's so easy, and it's easy to implement, right? But when we have an earlier dinner, we elongate the amount of time that we're able to kind of rest our digestive system. When we eat an earlier dinner, we're simply giving the gut much more time to really repair and rejuvenate. The number one time when it actually gets to do this is when we're sleeping. So if we have that later dinner, like right before we go to bed or an hour before we go to bed, and then we wake up and we eat something first thing in the morning, that's not a lot of time that our body has to really repair and rejuvenate because it's spending most of that time actually digesting our food. So when we elongate that window, the body can digest all the food, which takes like probably about 4 hours. And then after that, it gets to kind of clean house, repair, rejuvenate. That gut lining gets to seal back up, and we're also not adding in anything extra that could potentially be adding inflammation or just requiring like energy to be used towards digestion as opposed to healing and transformation and repairing. So eating that early dinner, I really shoot for like 5 p.m., 6 p.m., something like that. Obviously, it depends on your own schedule, so customize this for what you need. But I find for me and a lot of my clients, when we bring that dinner a little earlier, all done, kitchen closed by like 5, 5:30 or 6, it makes a huge difference. You'll feel honestly like a new person in the morning. Do that a few days in a row. So simple. It's like one of the best ways to reset after traveling. Tip number 2 is going to be remove the dairy, the gluten, and the sugar for like 3 days. 5 is awesome, 7's better, forever's the best, but 3 days is, I will just take it, okay? Because these are things that I like to call common toxic triggers. They basically like tick off pretty much everyone's body, regardless of whether you have celiac or you're lactose intolerant. Most of us don't have the proper enzymes to actually digest and assimilate dairy as best as we should if we're eating it regularly. Most of the gluten is genetically modified, the wheat crops are genetically modified, and it creates like serious inflammation, and it actually starts to pull away at that gut lining that surrounds the gut. And this lining has things called tight junctions. They're supposed to be tight, right? So they're supposed to be interlocked like this. And when we eat things like sugar and gluten and dairy, or we take antibiotics, or we're under like severe stress and trauma, these tight junctions start to pull apart and things start to kind of flow through that really shouldn't be flowing through. And this is where the term leaky gut comes from, because these tight junctions get a little leaky, stuff starts to flow through. This could be parasites, undigested proteins. It just starts to flow through to the bloodstream, and it shouldn't be going there. So removing the dairy and the gluten and the sugar is going to help secure that gut lining, those tight junctions that are so, so important to our health. And it's just worth trying, okay? This is something that I see amazing results with my clients, and it's easier to implement than you'd think. So go for 3 days, go for 5, maybe 7, or forever. And if you need any help with that, check out my 3-day gut reset that's posted below, because this does this for you automatically, as well as takes out some other things that typically tick most people off and just incorporates a ton of other like gut healing benefits. You can download that for free below this video. So check that out if you need assistance. It also has amazing recipes. Like, people end up making these recipes forever, and boyfriends like them, children like them. It's all the goods, because I just keep it as sustainable as possible. So that's a great option. If you want to just do it on your own, that's great. And then we also have the hand cookbook, which could be another amazing resource for you because all of the recipes in there are dairy-free, gluten-free, refined sugar-free, and freaking delicious. So point is, try taking out and removing dairy, gluten, and sugar, the big offenders to the gut, for 3 to 7 days, if not longer. Okay, tip number 3, get some sleep. Go to bed earlier. I know this can seem like easier said than done, but this makes such a huge difference. Remember what I said in tip number 1 about sleeping and how that's really the number 1 time when the gut gets to repair itself? This is why I'm talking about sleep here. And also, science and research has shown that a few nights of poor sleep, like only 2 nights of poor sleep in a row, actually negatively affect the microbial balance in the gut. So we have these microbes and these good and bad bacteria, kind of good and bad. It's a little bit of an overarching statement, but that's most important for you to know. So we have all these microbes and these bacteria in the gut, and after just 2 nights of poor sleep, the bad bacteria starts to outnumber the good bacteria. The good bacteria actually decrease, and we need those good bacteria to digest our food properly, to manufacture certain vitamins, their enzymes, all of this really important stuff. This is why you've maybe heard of like probiotics and they're good bacteria, right? So 2 nights of sleep can actually decrease those. We want them in there. They're so good for us. So make sure to get your sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours. This is also hyper personal, right? So you know what you need for your body, but really try to prioritize the sleep. It's gonna make a huge difference for your gut health and therefore literally everything else, and your skin, your energy, your digestion, your mood, all of it. So go to bed earlier. Okay, tip number 4, hydrate. Number 1, traveling dehydrates us, right? Like we're flying, we don't have access to as much water, and the plane is super dehydrating, or even if we're in like a car doing a road trip, right? It's just really dehydrating because we're trying not to stop to use the bathroom, am I right? Maybe that's just me and my family. So hydrating is so important during travel, but especially after travel. Enough water and proper hydration has actually been shown to benefit the mucosal lining of the intestines, and it also just keeps things like moving through how we want them, right? So using the bathroom, you know what I'm talking about, is the number 1 way that we eliminate toxins. So if we're not doing that regularly and consistently and properly, there's something going on. If you're not using the bathroom for a few days at a time, or even like I've had one client that didn't use the bathroom for like 2 weeks. First day on my 3-day gut reset, she did. But this is so important. And if this gets left unnoticed and you don't look after it, this can become a really big problem. Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth can happen, as well as just like skin stuff, very much related to improper elimination, but really everything in the book. So we want to make sure you're using the bathroom very regularly. Number 1 thing to do here is to hydrate efficiently. So make sure that you're getting in your 8 glasses of water a day, if not more. I like to recommend more, and this is for a multitude of reasons, but a few things that do dehydrate you, in addition to the travel, is like coffee. If you drink coffee, drink an extra glass of water for every cup of coffee. If you exercise regularly, if you live in a hot climate, just all of these things really affect it, and everyone's body is a bit personal, so personalize it to what you need, but make sure to hydrate. This is gonna benefit your gut so much, and it just keeps things moving properly, and it helps kind of solidify and allows the stool to be easy to pass. Maybe it's a little gross, I'm talking about it, okay? Because it's so important, and I wanna make sure that you're going to the bathroom enough. So hydrate. If you don't like the taste of water, add some mint to it, also really soothing and pacifying for the gut. Add a slice of lemon, figure it out. Figure out a way to do it, right? And it's also really helpful to get in your hydration, get in your water through the foods that you're eating. So whole fresh foods are going to help with this. Things like apples and a big salad and carrots and celery and watermelon and all of these foods, cucumbers, they're super hydrating, and most of us don't eat enough of them. So increase your intake of those foods, and it's gonna help you kind of eat your water and eat your hydration as well, which just really rounds out the whole thing and makes it easier. And having a healthy gut is going to help promote really dewy, hydrated, fresh skin, right? You get that glow that everyone wants. A really high functioning immune system, better sleeping habits, less anxiety, a positive mindset, just really all the things, definitely more energy. So really important to take this into account. Tip number 5, morning sun exposure for resetting your circadian rhythm. So every human has an internal body clock. This is like a 24-hour set of rhythms that help determine when we go to bed and when we wake up. And the gut, research has shown that the gut plays a huge role in helping to maintain and regulate this body clock. So when we travel, we're likely in different time zones, we're maybe off our schedule, we're definitely out of our normal routine, right? And sleep is so important, going back to that last step. So we really want to make sure that we're getting proper sleep and helping to reset that natural circadian rhythm, so we're sleeping effortlessly and easily through the night. So one of the things that really helps benefit this is morning sun exposure. So ideally, we are waking up with the sun and we are going to bed when the sun goes down. However, I'm not doing that. Most of us probably aren't doing that, right? Are you doing that? Let me know in the comments below. If you are, you get 10 gold stars. But with technology, with work schedules, with all the stuff that we all manage, chances are that's not happening. So we really want to help benefit those circadian rhythms by just getting outside and getting that morning sun exposure first thing in the morning when you can. So another reason why I like this tip is because it's easy to implement. It's totally free, right? But this morning sun exposure is going to help reset your brain. Your brain's going to kind of recognize that it's sunny out now, so later it'll be dark, and then it's gonna help reset your circadian rhythm. So you produce more melatonin when you should be, and that's gonna naturally help you fall asleep. So a few minutes outside first thing in the morning, 10, 15 minutes, just exposing your eyes to the sunlight. This is not only gonna help with jet lag when you are traveling, but it's gonna help get you back in the rhythm of things when you get back from traveling, especially if you traveled like hours and hours outside of your time zone to a different country or something like that. This is super, super useful. It also just feels really nice to get outside first thing in the morning. It's very relaxing. You can get some vitamin D, which is good for all sorts of things, immune function, metabolism, all the goods. So it also just feels really nice, and some fresh air in the morning never hurt nobody. So that's a really big tip of mine, is to just expose yourself to some sunlight first thing in the morning. Aim for 15 minutes. It's gonna help really everything. Especially it's gonna help you sleep during the night, because the gut also affects how much you sleep, as we know. And this is why, clients who have done my program literally report sleeping through the night for the first time in 10 years. I actually had a student say that to me, but it's because we repaired her gut, we transformed her gut health, and then she slept through the night and didn't need the medication. So yes to that. Okay, tip number 6 for helping to reset your gut after travel is going to be avoiding the late night blue light. So these last 3 tips really all correlate, and it just helps you get better sleep, so your gut health is better, so you feel more on track. And we all know that when we don't get a proper night's sleep, we're way more tempted to reach for, the candy bowl once it hits 11 a.m. at the office. We are more tired, we're more likely to skip the workout. We are more likely to crave sugar and carbs, and just, it's kind of this vicious circle, right? We're also just like maybe in a bad mood, which is no fun. So my 6th tip is going to be avoiding that late night blue light, which is going to help you sleep. So like I said in that last tip, the circadian rhythm kind of needs external factors to trigger its whole process. So things like that morning sunshine are gonna help your body recognize that it's morning. It's gonna help kind of regulate that circadian rhythm. When we add in a late night blue light, this is gonna do the opposite, right? Trick your body really into thinking that it's still sunny outside, even though it could be like 11 p.m. and you're watching Netflix, right? I've been there, no shame. But this isn't gonna help you feel better after traveling, or really help you feel better ever. So we wanna avoid this late night blue light. It kind of tricks the body into producing melatonin. So when it gets dark, your pineal gland produces a hormone called melatonin, which I'm sure you've heard of, right? This helps you fall asleep and makes you feel sleepy. But this happens when it gets dark outside. So if you're kind of always in front of these screens, blue light's gonna come from iPhones, regular phones, whatever. Is an iPhone a regular phone? I don't know. Computers, tablets, TVs, things like that. And this is going to prevent the production of melatonin, which is gonna make it harder to sleep when you should. And that can then disrupt all sorts of other hormones and your gut health. And it's just going to, like I said earlier, be this like negative spiral effect downwards. Studies also link melatonin suppression in the evening to obesity, diabetes, cancer, many, many different diseases. So we want to make sure that it's all regulated and working for us. So those are my top 6 tips to help reset your gut after a time that you're traveling. So just to review them quickly, we've got eating an early dinner. Number 1, saves my personal life. Number 2 is going to be removing the dairy, gluten, and sugar from your diet for 3 to 7 days, maybe longer. Number 3 is going to be get some sleep, right? Number 4 is going to be to hydrate. Make sure that you are getting in enough hydration. Number 5 is going to be getting in that morning sunshine exposure, just like 15 minutes, so good for a multitude of things. And number 6 is going to be avoiding that late night blue light exposure. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments below what you found the most helpful out of this video. I would love to know. If you have any questions, I'm always in the comments responding. So let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this content, make sure to like it and share it with anyone else that is feeling a little cray-cray after some travel time and needs help to reset their gut and feel at home in their body again. And if you want help resetting your gut microbiome in as little as 3 days, make sure to check out my free 3-day gut reset below. This is gonna help you sleep better. It's going to get rid of the bloating. It's going to definitely help you use the bathroom. Your skin's gonna glow, migraines disappear, all of the good stuff. This is just stuff that students have reported to me. So if you need help kind of taking on this gut health journey, then download this guide below for free and get started with me. Once again, any questions, let me know, and I will see you in the next video.